if you're targeting people who are on your website for 15, 20, 30 seconds, who are clicking on your videos and your ads or your images and your products, and they don't go to the cart, and you send them an email saying, hey, here's 20%. Just, when you have, when you have time and you're whatever, life's busy, here's 20% off your first purchase. We'd love to have you come back. And it's a welcomed message.
Welcome to the Marketing Expedition Podcast, an auditory journey through the latest in marketing, branding, and advertising. Now, here's your Marketing Expedition guide, Ray Allen.
On this episode of the Marketing Expedition Podcast, I get to speak with Garrett Nann from New Jersey, and he is a results-driven digital marketing expert and entrepreneur specializing in paid advertising, SEO, and data-driven growth strategies. As the co-founder of Pop Advertising Partners, he manages over $1 million per month in Google Ads and spearheads national SEO campaigns for e-commerce and B2C brands, helping businesses maximize their online presence and customer acquisition. Garrett's journey in marketing began with selling ads on pizza boxes. This is such a fun story. A creative and grassroots approach that laid the foundation for his expertise in high impact advertising. His latest innovation is the Smart Data Pixel and is transforming the way businesses capture and monetize website traffic. This cutting edge technology allows companies to identify anonymous site visitors, turning lost opportunities into revenue generating leads. With a passion for leveraging data to drive growth, Garrett continues to push the boundaries of digital marketing, helping brands scale effectively in an increasingly competitive landscape. And we've got lots of fun to talk about. We're going to talk about his journey from pizza boxes to smart data pixels and what his business does for the clients that he has, and some success stories and some wonderful things and tools and all the things that you need to know about. So stay tuned for that. But first, it's time for your Marketing Essentials moment, the basics that you need to help you continue to build your brand and your bottom line. Today's topic, we are going to cover what makes a good scope of work for a new client. And this is going to be beneficial for maybe not just creative or agency types, but anybody who has a new client and you want to set expectations and clarify exactly how you can go through the start of the process and all the way through to the end to help make sure that there's expectations set, you can avoid misunderstandings, and really just ensure a smooth project delivery. So here's some good practices to craft a solid scope of work. We like to start with a marketing audit. So this might just be the first thing that you do to understand what the needs are, the current needs of the client are. It also helps to identify the challenges and opportunities and understanding all of the things that need to be accomplished. What are their pain points? What are their goals? Why are they? And what can you measure, right? And understanding through this marketing audit process, what's been working, what's not, what to stop, start, keep, or tweak doing, and really just come out of the marketing audit phase as a way to create the plan based on all of the insights and knowledge and due diligence and, just uncovering everything that you can of what's been happening so that you can make a plan moving forward. Once you go through the marketing audit process, then we're going to look at how you can define the project objectives, clearly outlining what the client wants to achieve. And is it things like, are we increasing brand awareness? Are we to generate leads? Are we improving conversions? What is it that we're trying to do? And how can we align these objectives with some measurable KPIs to track success? And I always like to say kept promise indicators, otherwise known as key performance indicators, that people always want to make sure that what we're doing is working or what we're set out to do is going to work so that we can measure what success really is. And then, of course, you want to list out all of the deliverables or all of the things that you're going to accomplish for the client. So being very specific about what we'll provide is a good idea. The clarity in being very specific Whether it's outlining exactly the number of revisions you're going to create if you're doing a branding project, or maybe the number of videos that you're going to produce, how long those videos are, how many, different places and things that you're going to do, and where you're going to go and how you're going to get it. And if you're involved in pre-production, if you're writing the script, how many rounds of revision, all the things that you can do to be very specific about what it is that you're going to provide. And if you're doing things like social media management, lay out how many platforms and how often you're going to post and what the frequency of those posts will be. And if you're going to manage it and monitor it and respond or not, those are the things that you need to lay out. If you're doing email campaigns, for example, how often and what are you specifically responsible for growing the email list, and how are you going to do that specifically? Include details like the format, the length, the quantity, just so that you can avoid confusion. And when they come back at you and want millions of revisions, you can come back at them and say, we'd be happy to do that for you, but let me get you a change order estimate on how much more it's going to take. And I really think that what you're wanting to do, it would be in alignment with what our plan is. However, it's just going to take some more work on our part to do more deliverables. So be specific, so that way you're not backed into a corner of what you said you would do versus what they think you said that they would do or you would do. And I also remember that even though you've said something, it doesn't necessarily mean it's been heard. So get everything in writing as much as you can. And then establish the timeline. Break the project into phases with deadlines and each milestones that you can do, including key dates that you want the client to give you feedback and approvals, just to keep the project on track. Because if they can't provide you the feedback and approvals by the dates that you set, then, well, you need to then extend the timeline. And it's going to be a conversation that you can have. And if you've got a visual depiction of the timeline of when they need to provide you the feedback and approvals, then you can go back to that and say, here's the timeline. We will need to make some adjustments if it's taking longer for them to come back with approvals or whatever the case might be. It's just a way for you to CYA. CYA, look it up. And then, of course, defining the responsibilities. Do a division of duties. Clearly outline who's responsible for what. If your team's going to handle the creative development and execution, or if the client's going to be providing some of those deliverables or not, be specific about who is going to be doing what. And if the client's going to be providing those brand assets and approvals and any necessary information and specific dates, then hold them to it. Make sure that they are held accountable for the things that they are responsible for doing. And if they need to change that and shift responsibility to you, then you need to, again, update the scope of work and charge them more for it because you're doing more work. So defining those responsibilities is going to be a really helpful thing to do. Then a really key important part is setting the budget, providing a detailed breakdown of costs for each of the services, for each of the deliverables, if it's applicable. And then, of course, mention any additional charges for scope changes or rush jobs, or if it's nights and weekends or, those types of things. If they want something rushed because it's on them and not you, then be clear on what you're going to charge for those scope changes. And, if they need a rapid response that wasn't otherwise planned for, then you are able to put that into place because you've mentioned it right up front in the scope of work. And then understanding how you can include that change order process as part of your scope of work. Explain how those changes to the project scope can be handled, and if there's significant scope changes, that will require that change order that we're talking about. And you'll have to have client approval before you proceed. And then, of course, minor adjustments can be accommodated maybe within the existing budget or timeline if you put in a little bit of a contingency budget. Maybe there's some things that that you're not quite sure on what's going to end up costing because of the marketplace fluctuates often. So then that's okay to put in a contingency budget with the explanation that there are still some unknowns and we're going to put in this contingency budget to cover some of those unknowns. But if it exceeds 10%, let's say, or 8% or 5% or whatever contingency you put into place in your scope of work, then you at least have, again, your CYA. And then, of course, outline quality assurance and feedback. What are you going to do to proof the work? How is it going to get proofed? How is it going to how are you going to make sure that the quality is what you want it to be? Of course, we always say two sets of eyes on everything before it goes out the door, especially in an expedited situation. I'll say it again because it's worth bearing repeat. Two sets of eyes on everything before it goes out the door, especially in an expedited situation. And it doesn't necessarily mean your two sets of eyes or, your set of eyes, even if you have glasses, right? Four eyes don't count. But two sets of eyes on everything before it goes out the door, especially in an expedited situation, because that is when most errors occur. So keep quality assurance and what you're going to do, how you're going to do it. If you're going to share drafts or initial concepts for client review, how many number of revisions per deliverable are you going to allow beyond, a certain amount, 2 to 3 revisions, maybe then it's going to be a little more time intensive because then you're doing a lot more work, in which then, creates a change order. Of course, include your terms and conditions and then covering all the important details like your billing schedule, your payment terms, any confidentiality agreements, or anything that's going to say how you would resolve a dispute, anything like that. Any cancellation policies, and then, of course, the ownership of final deliverables. Depending on who we're working with and how we go about it, we always try to retain the rights to our project files as much as we possibly can. In some instances, we end up being a work for hire where we have to hand over things, especially in some sort of government situations where they want everything, but make sure it's very clear. And if they want to buy out the rights, then put that in your scope of work. And then, of course, review and get approval. Share the SOW with your client for feedback and just make any adjustments necessary. So that way you are both going into this with good negotiation, but also making it amicable throughout the process. And then, make sure it's all approved in writing before you even begin the project. And in some cases, we even require a deposit down before we can begin the project and do our best to always have those signed agreements in place, ready to go so that we all know what we're doing and what's is in progress for us to do. So all of that to say, CYA. All right, let's get into the interview. Welcome to the Marketing Expedition podcast. I'm your host, Ray Allen. I'm the president and CEO of Peppershock Media and the founder of the Marketing Expedition community. And today's guest, we have Garrett. Garrett, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
And all the way from New Jersey.
New Jersey. Yeah. Bacon, egg, and cheese.
Yeah, I love it. Well, I want everyone to know a little bit more about you and maybe it's something that's not on your bio, something interesting, a little fun fact. Tell us a little bit more about you, Garrett.
All right. Fun fact would be I am the 1997 New Jersey Shore skee ball champion at the boardwalk. I've been carrying that fun fact for 26 years now, and I hang my hat on that as one of my more prideful moments. But the day-to-day fun fact of me is, I'm an agency owner, been doing leads and everything for all kinds of types of businesses for about 13 years now, and have seen the good, the bad, and the sometimes ugly of trying to grow a business in today's market.
Well, some days you just want to go play skeet ball and said, screw it all. We're going to go play skeet ball.
I still live reasonably close to where my championship happened. And I think about it often.
I had no idea that there were even championship games for skeet ball. I think that's awesome.
At the boardwalk, at the Jersey Shore boardwalk, there's skeet ball is big time. You can go big time. Yep.
You're a big deal, man. That's awesome.
I like to think of myself at least as one.
Well, let's hear a little bit more. So I always love to share some success stories, some things that you've worked on, some kind of examples, and maybe some case studies, those types of things. But just to kind of give everyone an overview of some of the things that you do now as your agency specifically, and then kind of why don't you take us down a journey of some things that have worked really, really well, and like you said, maybe not so well, things to avoid, that kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure. So what we do primarily is, we do a lot of the standard services of SEO and Google ads and Facebook ads. And The one thing we do now to really bolster clients is setting up retargeting campaigns based on who is visiting the website, and not just the standard pixel stuff, but who the exact person is that is coming to your website, name, phone number, email, pages that they visited, so that we can remarket to them. And a couple of the big wins that we've had recently, I've got two Google Ads clients. One of them is an e-commerce that generates about $1 million a month in sales, and only about 8% of their sales were through their email marketing, which just heavily relied too much on their paid ad spend. And we put our remarketing pixel onto their site, where we actually started identifying who their website visitors are. And instead of waiting for people to add to cart or enter the system through the carts on Shopify, we hit them as soon as they got to the website and put them into email flows. And within 90 days, their revenue now is about 22% from email marketing, strictly based on the fact that we are now targeting the exact person who came to their website. So that's a really big win
Yeah.
recently for that particular client.
That's great. So, kind of tell me just a little bit more about that process without, giving away the farm, because I know it's what you do for a living, but I just want to know a little more, like what made you think to do that? How did you what was the strategy behind it? What are some of the kind of tips or, tools that you
Yeah.
think that you would care to share? How about
For
that?
sure. So first, I'll touch on why we started doing that part of the service of identifying people and remarketing to them. I have another client which is in a non-e-commerce niche, and they are a nationwide service business. And our Google Ads costs to acquire a customer started rising last year. And this is after 8 years of running their ads. We historically were between $25 and $30 to convert a customer. Then it started becoming 32 and 35 and 38 and 40. And
Mm.
at those ad spend levels, you can get an actual human being at Google on a Zoom call. And
Nice.
and we're on the Zoom call, and the person at Google just straight up said, "You're just going to have to get used to spending more to acquire your customers." As in, there's no reason for it to cost more other than we're just making it cost more.
Ugh.
There's nothing different. You guys do all the best practices. It's just going to cost you more because it's just going to cost you more. And my client, we got off the phone and he said, "Well, what do we do about that?" And I had started this project of identifying website visitors years prior, and I just never finished it. But that was the catalyst to say, okay, part of a marketing strategy for any business, you've got to start owning more of the data. We're spending money to bring people to our site, whether you're doing local SEO, standard website SEO, Google ads, Facebook ads, anything. We're spending a lot of money to get people to our offers, and we don't know who they are. And it's just really become a staple for every
Mm.
client we have to start that process of knowing who they are and how we can better bring them back into our offers and services.
That makes sense, because the more you know, the more you can share
Yeah.
and
And
sell.
yeah, and I tell people when some people don't understand quite what I'm saying, maybe I'm having a rough day explaining it, and I say, well, think of it like this: if Google told you add another dollar on the cost of every click, and we'll tell you exactly who that person is, would you
Mm.
do it?
Mhm.
And then it's like, oh yeah, well yeah, I would do that because then I know exactly who the person is, and say, yeah, well
Mhm.
that's what we're going for. We're trying to own that data, and not just let the platforms own that data for us.
Right. So essentially, when people visit the website, then they automatically get prompted to fill out email information or some sort of quick survey or something of that nature. And so then it's first party data, right?
Yeah, so this is first party data, so they actually don't have to fill anything out.
Oh, wow.
And once they hit the site, they're part of most people, and this is for US traffic only. Most
Hmm.
people are what's part of what's called co-reg databases, where we've opted in to be marketed to and our data to be used. Just like when you sign into Facebook or Google, you're telling them, hey, you can follow me around the internet. Well, they're buying and they're using databases, and that's what we're doing as well. And if you're in that database, you are that information is used to identify who you are, and then use that information to invite you back for offers.
And you mentioned that this is US based because outside of US, there's rules against being able to track all of that. And so we don't have the capabilities to do it outside of the US, right?
No, no, U.S. God bless America. You are automatically opted in for marketing. Every other country in the world, you are automatically opted out for marketing.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
And so
not
when
everybody's in that database.
Right. And so when we go to these websites and we see all these little, accept cookies, accept or, accept tracking, accept all of that. I mean, the point of that really is kind of null because of the fact that you're already getting tracked anyway.
Yes, you're already getting tracked anyway, and the other part of it is the tracking pixels from the known ones, Google and Facebook or Meta.
Mhm.
Those pixels generally only last about 7 days. So if you're using those to run ads and to make offers through their platform, that data is old after 7 days, and
Interesting.
um, it affects the cost per lead. So your retargeting is affected. iOS updates, Apple updates are heavily affected for
Mhm.
remarketing purposes.
Okay. So you basically work with your clients, put this magic tool on their website to then track, whoever's coming to the site, and then you turn around and then supply your clients with those specific people who are in the database, right? That
Yes,
is
they have to be in the
correct.
database. If you're
Yeah.
not in it, we don't know who you are.
And how do people get in the database? Just from having been online and probably filled out something somewhere along the lines, and then they get added to their database.
Absolutely. So
Mhm.
every app on your phone has
Mhm.
that print on it that says, hey, when you create this, we're going to use your information for marketing purposes. So
Mhm.
that's where it happens. It happens on credit card applications and apps
Mhm.
and website registrations. And
So
most
there's
people don't
no
know
way getting
this, but
around it.
there's no way getting around it. If you own a piece of real estate, it is completely public information. Your mortgage is public information. Everything
Right.
is very public. And I know this might sound a little sketch, but
Mhm.
um, we track all the email opens and all the unsubscribes and everything, and we get far below the standard for unsubscribes and
Mhm.
anything like that. So if you're targeting people who are on your website for 15, 20, 30 seconds, who are clicking on your videos and your ads or your images and your products, and they don't go to the cart, and you send them an email saying, hey, here's 20%. Just, when you have
Yeah.
when you have time and you're whatever, but life's busy, here's 20% off your first purchase. We'd love to have you come back. And it's a welcomed message.
Yeah, it's a callback. Like, oh, I wasn't gonna do it. I wasn't gonna buy
Yeah.
those shoes, but now
Yeah.
I see them again, and now I'm getting 20% off.
Absolutely. And what's crazy is it's working really well for home service companies.
Interesting.
So if we're running ads for a roofing company, people get to the site, roofing landing pages might convert about 15%. Well, a roofing click nowadays is $50 to $100.
Yeah.
So now instead of sending those people emails, we actually send them direct mail and say, hey,
Oh,
you're on our site. Here's $1,500 off if you do a roof. And this
okay.
offer is exclusive to you. This is not a public offer. It's an exclusive to you offer. Call this number. And that number leads to the other favorite marketing topic is some voice AI who
Hmm.
intakes your information, and the customer knows that this particular lead came from that postcard and is qualified for $1,500 off their roof replacement.
I know, and voice AI is getting so good now that
Yes,
you
very good,
it's
very good.
scary good.
I see
I feel
how
like
it's.
I'm talking to a person right now.
Yeah, I tell you, my first experience with voice AI, I had signed up for a demo call. They don't tell you when you're going to get the demo call.
Mhm.
And since I'm in sales and I own a business, I answer every phone, whether I know the number or not.
Mhm.
And someone called me and I had a 5 minute conversation before I was like, oh, wait a second.
Yeah.
This is the AI guy. This is the AI. I'd signed up for the call. They just don't tell you when they're going to call. They make it a surprise.
Mhm.
I was like, okay, I'm going to have to learn a little bit more about this.
Yeah, it's crazy. I got to speak at a conference in Saudi Arabia in Riyadh, and
Oh,
that was
wow.
my first. This is a couple years ago. That was my first experience. I was on the creator economy stage, and then they had like a deep fake stage, and they had, AI and all this kind of stuff, and they had like an actual full sized human looking robot. It blinked its eyes. It could read your face. It could ask you why. Oh, are you sad? If you made a sad face or something, and have like a full on conversation with you. It was so
Yeah.
creepy,
Yeah, it is.
crazy
It is
cool.
wild. It is wild. We use AI bots to book appointments, and
Nice.
people don't know. And these bots aren't having
Mhm.
conversations about your life or anything, but there can
Yeah.
easily have conversations about like, what do you want? Oh, you want to book an appointment to get your teeth cleaned? Great. Tell me your name. Tell me your phone number, and it just
Mhm.
works so much better because it's just
Mhm.
mostly done through texting.
It's all automated. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
texting, and I mean, sometimes it has, there's always going to be errors because,
Oh,
if
of
people have
course.
typos or whatever, but I think
Yeah.
it's just getting really good, and it's helping automate the process, and but at some point, there still has to be human interaction with being able to,
Absolutely. Yeah,
validate the data, but
absolutely. I
yeah.
have a dental client who just started using dental specific voice AI intake,
Mm,
and he had me call it to test it, and it just starts off saying, "Hey, this is a voice AI intake form. Just we're just going to have a quick
mhm.
conversation about what you need and get you booked for your appointment."
Yeah.
And I think the key with AI will be is don't pretend it's not AI. No one's going to care pretty soon that you're
Yeah.
talking to AI. It's very efficient, actually.
Right. Right. Yeah, I mean, the only people that I think will really care is people like my 85-year-old grandma, and she's gonna, get frustrated maybe, but at the same time, she may never even know.
You might not even know. Yeah, yeah, I know. Hey, my mom's 76, and I see the struggles still with just what you and I might consider old school technology. And I just say, is that's going to be me in 30 years with whatever's
I know.
coming next. That's for
My
sure.
husband's like, "You're glutton for punishment," because I got my
Yeah.
grandma, like I said, she's 85. I got her a new Apple Watch because it detects your heart rate and if
Oh,
you
that's crazy.
fall. And he's like, "You are gonna be on the phone with," and sure enough, she's calling me. She's like,
Yeah, that's
like,
crazy. You got your
"Oh."
grandma an Apple Watch. I would never get my mom an Apple.
I, I am gonna be. I'm gonna self-proclaim that I have the patience of a saint when it comes to her. So,
Well, you're in marketing, so you're used to taking grenades, and you're putting out fires all the time. So
oh, it's good
maybe
stuff.
it's just kind of par for the course.
It's true. Well, I want you to share. This is good. This is really good. I want to know maybe some more examples or some success stories of things that you were able to do for some of your clients, because I think that people need to know about this and know that this is an option that they could do, and how they could maybe reallocate some of their budget to doing
Yeah.
something different than they maybe haven't even thought of or knew that was capable of doing. So yeah, share us maybe one or two more if you wouldn't mind, Garrett.
Yeah. So one of my favorite examples is, and I've given a few examples about companies that spend a lot of money, and it's great for them. But recently, we had a nonprofit clothing company where they source um, ethically made clothes and from verified sources, and people are paid a living wage, and their
Okay.
margins are just non-existent. Essentially, it's nonprofit, and it's an e-commerce, and it's a great company, and it's funded by a lot of grants and things, and they were just looking to do, how do we get more business out of our current business, because they have a Google grant where they get the Google grant money to spend $10,000 a
Oh,
month on
yeah.
driving traffic to their website. They said we're not getting good conversion, so I'd actually set them up on Klaviyo, which is a great e-commerce email platform. And I was able to do it as a per lead package where you could say, go get your budget, and we can do this as you want to identify 3,000 people and put them into a Klaviyo scenario of all different emails. And they were able to do it like that, where the larger companies are just on a kind of a monthly retainer. Let's identify as many people as humanly possible. But the
Mm-hmm.
smaller companies, and I thought this was really great that we were able to help them, was you can purchase lead packages and really make it economical. And they had never done email marketing before. They had only had an add to cart
Mm-hmm.
abandonment sequence. So that was a good one, and they've really started capturing a lot of revenue. And one of the things I didn't touch on was all these audiences of people can be turned into Facebook ads. So we
Oh.
had another company um, that sells uh, prescription glasses, and they're competing with Warby Parker and some of the large companies. This was a guy who just started a prescription glass company, and he was small, and but he got a lot of traffic through places I had never really thought of before. Things like Discord groups, and he's got this huge prescription glasses Reddit forum, and so much traffic came from these places. But like everybody else, he wasn't converting a lot. And now all this traffic, he spends no money on ads, and he gets traffic from these wild places, like I said, like Reddit, Discord. He's got people on all these. I am not familiar with those on that level because I'm mostly a paid ads guy who's
Mm-hmm.
running ads from Meta and Google Ads.
Right.
And now he is selling twice as many glasses because all these people from Reddit who were coming back to his blog posts and everything are now being retargeted on Meta and
Oh.
knowing who they are. So we were able to build these audiences of who are these people that are coming to your site, and then creating lookalike audiences. So we could feed the data right to Facebook and then create a lookalike audience to successfully run ads, because he never successfully ran ads because he's going up against Zenni Optical, which is $1 billion company, Warby Parker, $1 billion company,
Right.
Costco glasses, obviously huge.
I
But
buy
now we
direct,
were
I think is
able
one.
to, yeah, now we were able to, and I was like, dude, I'm a Warby Parker customer, so I'm like, I feel terrible over here. But we were able to create these lookalike audiences from the specialized traffic that he got to actually start having success with Facebook ads to sell his prescription glasses.
That sounds really awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool. I wasn't sure how well that one would work on traffic from Reddit or
Mm-hmm.
kind of these, I don't know, alternate platforms, but it
Mm-hmm.
worked well.
Very cool. Okay, so in your bio, you talk about how you began selling ads on pizza boxes. So
Yeah.
from pizza boxes to smart data pixel, let's hear a
Yeah.
little bit about that journey.
So I wasn't working. I had quit my job, and my business partner had quit her job right around the same time. And we had been friends for years. And we were sitting in my apartment, and she's like, I don't want to go back to work. And I said, yeah, I don't want to go back to work either. And we're in New Jersey. I mean, there's a pizzeria on every corner,
Right.
literally every corner. I lived in Alabama for a little bit. There's a church on every corner in Alabama. Well, there's a pizzeria on every corner in New Jersey. And I said, well, what can we do since neither one of us has a job that literally could cost us no money? Like, we can get this done for $100. And we were eating a pizza. I said,
I
well,
love
what
it.
if, I said, well, what if we just put ads? Like, and I knew some people who owned pizzerias, and I knew a really hidden large cost is a large pizza box is about 50 cents.
Mhm.
Now, a typical pizzeria sells 2,000 pizzas a week. That's $1,000 a week
Mhm.
in pizza box cost.
Yeah.
So, well, if we can eliminate that, how could that not be a business? And we found a printer who would print advertisements right on the pizza boxes, like it would, like a wrap, almost like a car wrap, but
Mm.
for a pizza box.
Mhm.
And this wasn't some groundbreaking thing. Movie companies have been doing this for years. Just no one did it for local businesses, or at least no one, really saw
Yeah.
that before. And we just started walking around town, everywhere where there was like a really popular, well-known pizzeria. We would walk in there. It was built totally cold traffic. And eventually we struck a deal with Boost Mobile, who purchased 52 pizzeria locations to put the ads on. And that's when we had a new entrepreneurial moment when that contract ended, because we kind of rode that contract out a little bit, got a little bit
Mhm.
lazy.
Mhm.
And one of the clients said to us, "Do you guys do anything else?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, like, what are you
Sure.
talking about?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Do you do SEO?" And I was like, "How dare you ask me that? I am an SEO genius master. Of course we do SEO." And then I call up Heather on the ride home and I'm like, "Google what SEO is because we got a client. I don't know what it is, but he's going to pay us for it." So we got 24 hours to figure out what SEO is and what we're going to do. And then it kind of the online marketing life struck right there. It's like, wow, so we don't have to really drive around the pizzeria. We were driving around all over the place. We were
Mhm.
delivering boxes every week because we couldn't drop off,
Mhm. You were
10,000
eating a lot of
boxes.
pizza, man. I bet
Well,
you were.
I was skinny. I'll tell you that story. I was in good shape prior to that business, and guys are giving me pizza every day. And I said to a guy, I said, "Hey, you know what? Let's skip the pizza. Can I get a salad?" And he goes, "Yeah, yeah." He goes, "Salads cost money. Pizza's free. Which one do you want?" I said, "Well, I'll take the pizza. Give me the pizza." Because we were delivering pizza boxes all throughout the day. So a lot of the
Mhm.
time, every night, I was at a pizzeria at 9:30 at night, dropping off boxes, and they'd say, "Hey, do you want to just clear the counter? I'll throw it all in a box. Just take every slice I have." I'd be like, "Yeah, sure, no problem." And I'd be eating 7 slices of pizza a day. And
Oh my
I still have all that in me, unfortunately. I have not worked off the 7,000 slices of pizza I ate over the course of about 2 years. We did that business full time and
That's
transitioned
awesome.
into to digital marketing on SEO, and then started getting some clients. And then once you land your first real big, full budget client, and really turn that
Mhm.
into a business, and here we are today running. I spend some months $2.5 million on Google Ads for clients, and we rank about 5,000 keywords in the top three on Google for clients right now, and we're identifying about 175,000 people a month through our pixels and through our remarketing. So it's been a heck of a journey from free pizza,
Mhm.
selling pizza, advertising on pizza boxes.
Well, instead of the skeet ball championship, now it's the SEO and online game championship, right?
Yes,
The data
yes.
the data the data championship.
No
Woohoo!
matter what, though, the skeet ball will always be listed first. Always.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So, Garrett, how can people reach out to you, learn more about what you're doing, and see if it might be something that they could capitalize on from
Yeah,
you?
for sure. So I'm most active on LinkedIn. Garrett Nann. You could type that in. I'm definitely the only Garrett Nann on all of LinkedIn. I've checked that a few times. And then also our website is smartdatapixel.com. And we have all kinds of ways you can reach out to us on there.
Have you, Garrett, started teaching other people how to do what you do? Is it, or are you kind of, open to that idea of letting people know more about how the process goes and flows? Or is it kind of like, no, we want to keep it to ourselves because that's how we make money?
Yeah, no, I am an open book. I will tell anybody anything they want to know about anything. My entire family, parents, brothers, cousins, everybody is a teacher in New
Nice.
Jersey. I am the only one. And so I have to give back a little bit to the
There you
teaching
go.
community, and say I will tell anybody anything about everything. I'm an open book about how
That's
everything works
awesome.
online. It's just a better life that way.
Well, teaching is definitely, it's for those who can serve because it's not necessarily about the money, but it's about what you can give and that is the payment for teaching. I teach a couple of classes at Boise State, marketing classes,
Mhm.
and
Wow.
it's fun, it's rewarding, and sometimes I get to learn from my students just as much as they get to learn
Absolutely.
from me. Yeah.
Anytime I've had someone on a screen share and I'm walking them through how to do something, I find something else and I'm like, huh,
Yeah.
I guess I didn't realize that. I guess I needed to verbalize it out loud to kind of come up with something new or different that I just realized. And
Mhm.
I actually would love to do that one day. That's something I should do. Teach in a
Put
classroom,
together
something
some
like that. Yeah.
DIYs if people wanna do some things on their own, or,
Yeah.
get to
Yeah.
a point where eventually they can afford services, but they might have to kinda, bootstrap it up front,
Yeah.
do
I,
learn.
I, yeah, absolutely. I turn down more business than I take on. I tell people all the time, almost every day, here's the things that you can do that will cost you no money to really grow your sales, to grow your business. You got to solidify these things because here's the mistakes I've seen people make, including myself, and do all these things first. Get to this point first, then I'm someone you can reach out to. I'd rather show you all how to do it without me and never call me and never need me again and just tell someone else about me.
Mhm,
And versus bringing you on as a client too soon, it's counterproductive for everybody.
mhm. All right, one, maybe 2 more questions, Garrett. What are some resources or tools that you like to use that you would recommend that people maybe investigate? I mean, there's so many tools now,
There
AI
are
tools,
so
and
many.
oh my goodness. But just,
Uh,
maybe like off the top of your head, what are some
yeah,
ones that you use often or that you're favorite of, or, not that you're
yeah,
getting paid to endorse them, but I
yeah,
always like to ask that
absolutely.
question because I get to learn, and so does the audience, about new things that are new capabilities even that we don't even know that can happen. And so that's always a fun question for me.
Yeah, so I'll give a couple answers. If you're an agency, I would say there's a tool called CloseBot, which is an AI booking tool, appointment booking tool, which is 6 out of 5 stars.
Mm,
They only work and sell to agencies. So if you're an agency, I would check out CloseBot. If you're any business that is running paid ads, you should be looking at a company called Unbounce for your landing pages. That's where you want people to land. And specifically because they do something called smart traffic. So instead of just a standard A B split test where 50% of your traffic goes to this website and the other half goes to just another website, you create all those versions ahead of time. And based on the type of phone you have, the area, the region you're in, they will direct traffic to what shows up best for the type of computer you have. They read who is clicking and visiting these pages and redirecting traffic to the highest converter. So it's not just a standard A B split test, it's AI split testing into the best solution possible. So when I talk about conversions, before I take anyone on as a Pixel client, I say, are you running traffic to landing pages? Because if you're not, then that's step one to getting your conversions up before we identify people. Like, let's boost that 20% first.
mhm,
And those two tools could absolutely increase the amount of sales and bookings that you're doing. And if you're doing e-commerce, you should have a robust Clavio. You should be using Clavio for your e-commerce. That is a tool that is just incredible. It tracks every sale, every click, and you can create workflows based on every single thing a person does within your email system to bring them along on different journeys. And that's how people convert online. You got to bring them through a journey of what you buy or sell or offer, and
mhm.
you'll
Yeah,
see conversion rates go up.
sounds great. Oh, I really appreciate you sharing some of those tools. I'm sure we could probably go on and on and on about all the tools that are out there
Oh
now
my
that
goodness, I got a massive software bill.
yeah, I know. All those subscriptions, and, I periodically have to go through and look at my credit card statement because
Yep.
my accounting lady, she's like, Now, what is this for? What is this for? I'm like, oh, crud. I forgot to cancel that 14-day
Yeah.
trial.
My business partner does all our accounting. I do all the buying. So every 90 days, we have a full review. And she's like, well, what's this? I'm like, oh, I was supposed to
Sounds
cancel
familiar.
that.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be great, and it wasn't. And yeah, so
Yeah,
she's
so those
she's
that are
kept a
listening,
13-year running tally of all my great ideas.
great ideas. Yeah, I am very guilty of that. So the best thing that people can do to while they're listening, and I'm sure we just reminded somebody that they had to go look and see what to cancel.
Yes, please check your subscription bill because you could replace getting a client this month with canceling subscriptions
That's
probably.
right.
And say
Oh
that, wow,
yeah.
that's like a client's worth of money I just found.
Woo! It's like winning the lottery.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I understand that too.
Every 90 days we discover, I'm like, oh, yeah, maybe we should
Mhm.
start doing this every 60 days.
Well,
So
and then the ones that are the annual subscriptions that you completely forgot about a year ago. That's difficult.
I just had one hit the other day. I'm glad it was only $180.
Yeah.
But when she brought it up, she's like, well, what's this? And I'm like, oh, I'm like,
Me too.
that's that video editing software that's kind of obsolete now. We pay for the other one. We pay for the competitor now. I was like, that was like a 2-year deal. How could I ever remember that?
Yeah, exactly. I'm glad I'm not the only one that goes through that pain.
Oh my goodness, all the time, every month.
Yeah. Well, I think it's probably time for us to wrap up, Garrett. This is awesome. It's been a really great conversation. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and all the wonderful success stories that you've had, and more to come. And I love the pizza box story and the pizza. That's awesome.
Yeah. not for my waistline, but
Oh.
for my entrepreneurial journey. It was fantastic.
Oh, well, it's great. Well, thank you, Garrett. Any last parting words before we part ways?
No, just thanks for having me on, and anyone listening, I encourage you to never stop trying. If you got a great product or a great service, there's buyers out there. Keep testing and keep working hard at your business.
Excellent. Thanks, Garrett. And for those of you listening, the best thing that you could do for both of us is to share this with others that you know that need to hear what he had to say today. And go give us a review on Apple or any of the podcast platforms that you listen to. That helps us rank and also gets more people listening and subscribing to the podcast. Okay, well, until next time, everybody, enjoy your marketing journey.
Thanks for listening to the Marketing Expedition podcast. Want to continue the journey? Don't miss out on new episodes. Subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music, or wherever you get your podcasts. Wouldn't it be great if there was one place you can go to get all the latest information and tips about marketing and advertising? The Marketing Expedition community is that place. People like you gather in our online community to build relationships with others and find the latest marketing trends, tactics, tools, and technology. We help you build your brand and your bottom line. Start your adventure today. Visit themarketingexpedition.com to find out more.